lang yan eh. 7 years ago, the ICC was already investigating what happened during the drug war.
What happened 7 years ago? Parang nahinto eh. Bakit sinabi natin na hindi na tayo
Yun lang po yung aking recollection kung kailan sila nagsimula. Na parang 2016 nga, baka 9 years ago pa. Sinimulan na po nilang bantayan ang ating drug watch, yung ating drug war, nung nagsimula po yung patayan.
Pero matibay ang ating kalooban, matibay ang paninindigan natin na hindi natin tutulungan at talagang tututulan natin pagkat meron tayong sariling pulis, may sarili tayong mga korte. Ang liwaliwanag nun.
Opo.
Bago lamang...
Meron po tayong panahon na binabantayan dito. May panahon po tayong binabantayan dito. 2016 hanggang 2019 ay doon po ang kainitan ng drug war. At ito po, ang dami lumalapit sa aming opisina, humihingi ng tulong na maimbestigahan yung magpatay kung kani-kanino na lamang. Pero marami ho kaming talagang naging ano eh.
Kailan pumunta sa opisina ninyo? Kasi binabanggit ninyo, hindi pa Marcos administration, yung 2016 to 2019. Kailan nag-umpisa?
Simula ho sila pumunta sa amin, 2022 na. So matagal na ho nakalipas ang mga krimen na nangyari.
Pero nung umpisa, ang sinasabi natin, paulit-ulit, talagang hindi tayo tutulong at hindi natin hahayaan sila manghimasok. Maybe we can ask Secretary Anyo, sorry, kumakain po kayo, violation na naman ng human rights po to. Pero kung maaari bilang pinuno ng National Security Council, baka may naalam kayo tungkol sa pivot. Kasi parang nag-iba eh. Di nag-iba. Bakit nag-iba? Nung una, ang tindi ng ating paninindigan na hindi kailanman tayo tutulong sa ICC. Biglang lumambot. Nahahayaan natin pag pumasok sila. Tapos, pagkatapos nun, meron ng statement, uupo tayo. Kung may mamamagitan, pag-uusapan kung saan tayo pwede tumulong. Meron ba kayong alam, Secretary Anyo? Kasi maraming nagsasabi na kayo daw ang dahilan kung bakit nagbago ang isipan ng ating administrasyon.
Madam Chair, palagay ko po ay walang basis po yung ganung klaseng allegation sapagkat ito po ay legal na usapan at hindi po kami nag-focus sa legal na usapan sapagkat ang sa amin po ay on the lens of national security. Tapos wala rin po kaming na-monitor na pumasok dito ng mga ICC investigators nung sinasabi ng mga panahon na yan.
So wala kayong alam tungkol sa pagbabago ng isipan at polisiya ng ating administrasyon?
Wala po, Madam Chair.
At hindi rin kayo kasama sa pagpaplano ng aresto ni former President Duterte?
Ma'am, meron po akong opening statement. Pwede ko po bang basahin?
Siyempre, oo. In the meantime, if I may recognize the arrival of Senator Cayetano.
Thank you.
Please proceed, Secretary.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking the Senate Committee on Foreign Relations, chaired by Senator Amy R. Marcos, for the opportunity to clarify the truth about what transpired during the arrest of former President Rodrigo Duterte and other related matters. I believe this is also a good venue for me and my fellow officials to clarify what really happened and to debunk and dispel the false accusations and fake narratives that have misled the public about this issue. As government officials, it is our duty to be truthful and to assure the public that our actions were proper and in accordance with the law. I, for one, have been the victim of relentless disinformation campaign aimed at destroying the integrity and credibility I have carefully built over 4 decades of public service, which began the day I entered the hallowed halls of the Philippine Military Academy. While public officials are not supposed to be thin-skinned, I have rolled with the punches for several days. However, the time has come for me to air my side. Therefore, I am grateful for the opportunity to speak before the Senate and present the truth. As a former member of the cabinet of the Duterte administration, it is also very hard for me to see the former president arrested. I worked closely with former President Duterte for so many years through the most serious crisis the country faced, and we have developed and nurtured a personal friendship. He trusted and respected me in the same way I trusted and respected him, even after our terms ended in 2022. I retired from public service when former President Duterte ended his term. However, the repeated calls for public service came again, and 6 months after my retirement, I was appointed by President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. to be his National Security Advisor. I saw my appointment as a continuation of my service to the Filipino people across different administrations. As a soldier, my loyalty has always been to the Constitution and the chain of command. This has always been my principle when I served as the Commanding General of the Philippine Army under President Noynoy Aquino, then as AP Chief of Staff, and later as Secretary of the Department of Interior and Local Government under President Duterte, and now as National Security Advisor under President Marcos Jr. In its position, I have held under several administrations. I have never played politics. I do not have a political agenda, nor do I have, or will I ever have, political ambitions. I uphold the same principle in my role as National Security Advisor and Director General of the National Security Council. Thus, I'd like to state for the record that my role was limited to the mandate of my office to assess that the situation does not escalate into a national security concern. The implementation of the ICC warrant is beyond my mandate, and I had no part in it. And may I also state for the record that I am not aware of any core group, nor am I a member of such group that allegedly planned and prepared for the arrest of former President Duterte. In fact, it was only on Tuesday morning, March 11, 2025, that I learned that there was already an Interpol red notice and that the ICC warrant of arrest would be served. There was also no intelligence operation. The former president's presence in Hong Kong, as well as his return to the country, was a public knowledge since it was heavily reported in both mainstream and social media. It is utterly unacceptable and unfair that my name is being dragged into an alleged grand conspiracy. I firmly deny any allegations of a grand conspiracy. In fact, the events in March 11 were spontaneous. As National Security Advisor, I was merely doing my job. However, I face all these accusations against my honor and integrity with firm resolve, knowing that I am on the side of the truth, and I was simply doing what I had to do. And in doing so, I upheld the truth, justice, and the rule of the law. Again, my loyalty is always to the country, to the Constitution, and not to any person. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Salamat, Secretary Ed. Subalit sa kabila nito, nagsalita po ang ating mahal na Secretary John Vic na ang nagplano po rito, o yung pagkaintindi namin, ang nagplano ay kayo.
I would like
Secretary
to answer that.
Anyo, Secretary Gibot Chodoro, at ang pinangalan, ang Chief PNP, General Marbil. Parang apat yung pinangalanan sa isang interview ng ating Secretary ng DILG.
Can I answer that, ma'am?
Yes, please, you're recognized.
The question was, who planned this? I did not state in any way who planned it. The meeting was of executive privilege. It is a conversation between the president and the ones I mentioned. There were.
So what exactly did you say? Ano sinabi po ninyo?
They
Ang
asked me-
pagkaintindi namin, itong apat na pinangalanan, ang siyang nagplano. Kasi
Ma'am, we're already invoking
namin.
executive privilege in this matter.
Yes.
We're invoking executive privilege in this
Yes,
matter.
that's fine, but it's
Yes.
in the interview and it's
Yes, ma'am.
public.
It goes as far as the interview, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That's
Yes,
it.
I'd like to understand. I think your brother was
I
trying to
did not
explain
state in any
what he
way.
said in the interview, and I'm happy
They
to
asked
hear
me
it.
if I planned it. I said it was not me. There were other people in the room, but we did not discuss any plans of any arrest.
Saan nanggaling yung mga pangalan na ito?
Ma'am, that again is executive privilege. Ma'am, let
Pero
me explain, ma'am. Let
nandun
me explain
sa
first, ma'am.
interview po eh.
Yes, yes,
Ang
ma'am.
liwanag
Let
eh.
me explain first, ma'am. We were discussing rumors of an impending arrival
Parang
based on.
hindi yung ganun ang dating sa amin eh. Ang
That is
pagkaintindi
that
namin,
is the whole
apat ang
truth,
nagplano.
ma'am. That is we were discussing rumors